Listen, I'm going to tell you something that's going to make your blood boil. You know how, when you trust someone with your life, you expect them to actually show up when things get dangerous? Well, that didn't happen for DJ Warris. And now police have his bodyguard sitting in an interrogation room, trying to explain why he suddenly decided to take a day off on the exact day his boss got executed. Yeah, you heard that right. His bodyguard wasn't there. But hold on, because that's not even the craziest part. While police are grilling the bodyguard, they've also exposed a woman running the whole criminal operation. By the time we're done breaking this down, you're going to understand exactly how deep this conspiracy goes. Before we get into it, do me a favor. If you want to see these criminals locked up, if you think DJ Warris deserves justice, smash that like button right now. And subscribe because we're following this case all the way to the courtroom. Now, let's get into what MMC Chwaku revealed. So the bodyguard's name is Innocent. Now, I don't know who named him that, but after you hear what I'm about to tell you, you're going to wonder if that name is the biggest joke in this whole case, or what. This guy, Innocent, worked as DJ Warris's personal security and close associate. And according to the lawyers who managed these buildings, every single time Warris went into Johannesburg's inner city, Innocent was right there next to him. Every time. Not sometimes. Not most times. Every single time. So what happened last Wednesday? Where was this Mr. Always There when his boss walked into what turned out to be a death trap? Let me play you what MMC Chwaku said about this because his words are crucial.
Good evening, Ravina. To yourself and the listeners of SABC. Currently, the close associate of DJ Warris has been taken in for questioning.
I'll ask you about the protection orders in a moment because there was more than one. But I want to start with the associate who you say has been taken in for questioning. This is the gentleman who you mentioned when you spoke to SABC News on Morning Live this morning. I think you said his name was Ishmael, right? So what is the reason why he has been taken in for questioning? Because when you spoke to us this morning, you said he was not with Warris during yesterday's visit, which was different from when they'd gone to Zambezi building in the past.
So we want to really get to understand what has been happening because the lawyers of who are managing that building say that he's always with DJ Warris every single time. But every time when he is in the city, he will always be actually there. And in this particular time, we don't understand, well, some question in terms of what happened, why he was not there, because we believe that Warris was there with another certain company to install a biometric and the CCTV cameras. And we, with the information we got now, he was there actually for a very long time without his proper security, the detail, and then Innocent was not there as well. So, and then also we understand that he was the last person to have a conversation with DJ Warris. So it's part of the investigation just to get the bottom of it. What was the motive for the killing of Ulan Warris?
Now stop right there. Did you catch the way the MMC said that? He's trying to be professional, trying to be careful with his words, because this is an active investigation. But read between the lines. He's basically saying, we don't understand why the pattern broke. And when a police official says we don't understand, what they really mean is, this doesn't make sense, something's wrong here, we need answers. Here's what makes this whole thing even more suspicious. Warris wasn't just taking a casual stroll through the building that day. No, he was there to install biometric security systems and CCTV cameras. Now, if you don't know what that means, let me break it down for you. Biometric systems are like fingerprint scanners that track exactly who enters and leaves a building. CCTV cameras record everything, every face, every movement, every illegal activity. For criminals running operations inside hijacked buildings, these systems are basically the end of their business. It's like being a thief and someone installing cameras in every room you steal from. You're done. So on the day when Warris is doing the most dangerous work possible, the work that's going to expose all these criminals, the work that's literally going to put them out of business, his bodyguard mysteriously isn't there. You see why police are asking questions? This is like your wife deciding to go on holiday the exact same week you catch your house on fire. The timing is too perfect to be a coincidence. And it gets worse. The MMC revealed something else that should make everyone suspicious. He said Innocent was the last person to have a conversation with DJ Warris before he was killed. Think about that for a moment. The last phone call, the last text message, the last words between them. What did they talk about? Did Warris say, "Hey, I'm going to the Zambezi building today. You coming?" Did Innocent say, "No, I can't make it today, boss. You'll be fine on your own"? Or did someone else ask Innocent, "What's Warris doing today?" And Innocent said, "Oh, he's installing cameras at Zambezi. He'll be there for a few hours." You see where I'm going with this? In every movie, every crime show, every true crime documentary you've ever watched, when someone gets killed and their closest associate wasn't there but had just talked to them, what's the first thing investigators ask? They ask, "What did you talk about? Who else did you tell? Where were you when it happened? And can you prove it?" Let me give you a real-life example. Remember that story a few years back about the bodyguard who was supposed to protect that businessman in Santon? The businessman got killed in a hijacking, but people found out later that the bodyguard had been paid by the hijackers to take a different route that day. He didn't pull the trigger. He didn't even know exactly when it would happen. But he made sure his boss was vulnerable. He created the opportunity. And that's all criminals need. One moment of vulnerability. One gap in security. One person who's supposed to be watching your back who just isn't there. Think about what you need to plan a hit. First, you need to know your target is there. Check. Warris was there, and anyone in the building could see him working. Second, you need to confirm he's alone. Check. No bodyguard in sight. Third, you need to get your weapon. Check. 2 hours is plenty of time to grab a gun from wherever it's hidden. Fourth, you need to position yourself. Check. Plenty of time to find the right spot. Fifth, you need to make sure your escape route is clear. Check. 2 hours to watch the comings and goings. And sixth, you need to work up the nerve to actually do it. And apparently, they had plenty of time for that too. But here's what's really interesting. According to reports from Network 24, someone was doing reconnaissance outside that building the day before. Tuesday, one day before the murder, an accomplice was spotted standing outside the Zambezi building, watching, observing, planning. And then on Wednesday, after the shooting, one of the attackers came back to the scene twice, pretending to be a random bystander. Twice. He walked back to where he'd just killed someone and played innocent, probably listening to what people were saying, checking if there were witnesses, making sure no one saw his face clearly. Now let me give you 5 possible explanations for why Innocent wasn't there, because this is how investigators think. They don't just assume guilt, they consider every possibility, and then they eliminate the ones that don't fit the evidence. Theory 1, he was threatened. Maybe the criminals got to him. Maybe they pulled him aside a few days before and said, "Listen, on Wednesday, we need you to stay away. If you show up, you're going to die too." Maybe they showed him a gun. Maybe they threatened his family. This happens all the time in South Africa. Security guards get intimidated. Witnesses get silenced. People choose survival over duty. It's not heroic, but it's human. If someone puts a gun to your head and says, "Don't come to work on Wednesday," most people aren't coming to work on Wednesday. So maybe Innocent is a victim here too. Maybe he's traumatized. Maybe he's terrified right now, sitting in that police station, knowing that if he talks, the same people who killed his boss might come for him next. Theory 2, he was set up. Maybe someone told him Warris didn't need security that day. Maybe someone said, "Oh, the building's safe now. We've cleared out the troublemakers. Warris will be fine." Maybe someone even impersonated Warris and sent him a message saying, "Don't come today, I'll be quick." Criminals are smart. They know how to manipulate people. They know how to create confusion. So maybe Innocent genuinely thought there was no danger. Maybe he was deceived. Theory 3, pure coincidence. Maybe his mom was sick and he had to take her to the hospital. Maybe his car broke down. Maybe there was a family emergency. Maybe he ate something bad and had food poisoning. Maybe there's a completely innocent, boring, normal reason he wasn't there, and it just happened to be the worst timing in the world. Life is full of coincidences. Sometimes the unlikely thing is exactly what happened. But here's the problem with this theory. If it's true, if he has a solid alibi, if there's a completely innocent explanation, why hasn't his lawyer released a statement? Why no press conference saying my client was at his mother's bedside at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital? Here are the hospital records. Here are the witnesses. He had nothing to do with this. Innocent people usually speak up fast in high-profile cases. The silence is what makes people suspicious. Theory 4, he was paid off. This is the one nobody wants to think about, but we have to consider it. Maybe the criminals offered him money. Maybe they said, listen, we'll give you 50,000 rand, just don't show up on Wednesday. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to help us. Just stay home, take a sick day. We'll handle the rest. And maybe Innocent thought about his bills, his rent, his family's needs, and he made a choice. Not to kill anyone himself, not to be directly involved, just to not be there, just to create that window of opportunity. If this is what happened, then he's not the trigger man, but he's part of the conspiracy. And in South African law, if you're part of a murder conspiracy, you get charged with murder. It doesn't matter if you didn't pull the trigger. If you helped make it possible, you're guilty. Theory 5, and this is the darkest one. What if Innocent was never really on Warris's side? What if he was planted months ago by the criminal syndicate? What if his entire job was to be the inside man? Think about it like this. You're a crime boss running operations in hijacked buildings. You know DJ Warris is a problem. He's installing security. He's taking you to court. He's filing protection orders. He's threatening your entire business. So what do? You can't just kill him randomly because then police will investigate everyone in your organization. But what if you could get someone close to him? Someone he trusts? Someone who knows his schedule, his movements, his security protocols? Then when the time is right, that person just steps aside and lets it happen. I know that sounds like a movie plot. But let me tell you something about organized crime in South Africa. We've seen this before. We've seen criminals infiltrate police stations. We've seen them infiltrate security companies. We've seen them infiltrate government departments. Why? Because the best way to defeat your enemy is from the inside. So is it really that crazy to think they might have infiltrated DJ Warris's own security team? Now, I don't know which of these theories is true. Maybe it's one of them. Maybe it's something else entirely. But what I know for certain is that police are going to figure it out. They're not just asking innocent questions. They're checking his phone records. They're looking at his bank statements. They're tracking his location data. They're interviewing his friends and family. They're building a timeline. And if there's any evidence that he was involved, they'll find it. So here's what we need you to do. If you live in Johannesburg and you know anything about this case, contact Crime Stop. Your information could solve this. If you know who Innocent is and where he was, tell police. If you know the woman's identity, tell police. If you live in the Zambezi building and you saw something, tell police. Don't think your information is too small or unimportant. Sometimes it's the smallest detail that breaks a case wide open. And for everyone watching this video, share it. Let people know what's happening. Let them know that we're watching this case. Let them know that DJ Warris's name will not be forgotten. Subscribe to this channel because when those arrests happen, we're going to be here to report every detail. We're going to follow this all the way to court. We're going to make sure justice is served.